Hello and welcome to The Content Bite, a podcast for freelancers who use their words to make money. I'm Rachel Smith, a freelance journalist, copywriter, and content producer. I'm also the founder of Rachel's List, a jobs board and community for Aussie writers and other creatives.
Hello, and I'm Lynn Testoni. I'm a journalist and a content writer as well, and Rachel and I are your weekly co-hosts, and every week we're bringing you all kinds of tips, ideas, and some fabulous guests to help you make the most of your freelance business. Hi Rach, how are you? Another ep, just the two of us this week.
Yeah, I know. We've had quite a few guests, haven't we, lately?
We have.
But we like to shoehorn these shorter eps in. Yeah, no, I'm good. I've been working on the Rachel's List site update for the past few weeks, which is quite exciting. Lots of moving parts, but also lots of stress as you try to kind of coordinate people to do things and outsource bits and pieces and that have to happen. So I know it's all going to be good in the end, but it's huge.
It sounds like a bit of a journey. It's fun and so many moving parts.
Yeah.
Are you missing your client work?
Desperately. Just no. It's nice to be focused on one thing and be doing that one thing. So yeah.
Yes.
It's good.
Exactly. Yes. Today we're going to delve into a topic that sort of divides freelancers, and that's about whether or not you need a CV. What do you think?
Yeah, well, this topic came up on a recent crowdcast that I did with Beck Lambert. And someone asked me whether I had a CV, and I kind of said I have a CV, but it's sort of a freelancer CV. And I didn't even think it was a thing, but it is a thing. And, in our recent job ad survey, it also came up quite a few times there about how freelancers didn't need a CV if they had a portfolio, and why do people keep asking for a CV? And I do get why freelancers want to ditch the CV, because I think you automatically think it's for looking for perm roles, but I'm sort of a long-term career freelancer and I quite like having one, but it is very different to a traditional CV, I would say.
So have you had one for years, or is it a recent thing?
Oh, look, it's pretty recent. I was registering for one of those project sites and it needed you to upload a CV. And I thought, well, I was kind of in between my old website and building my new website and just directing people to my LinkedIn. And I thought it might be good to have something else that sort of encapsulated what I did as a freelancer, and something I could just send off as a PDF. So that's why I got one.
Oh, that's interesting. I do have one too, but yours is way fancier. I love yours. I've actually got two CVs. Some basic information, obviously the same, but one I use for content work and with my content experience. The other one I use for sub-editing work if I need that. So it sort of gives my credentials in each of those with different skills.
Yeah.
I mean, generally I point people to my website, but sometimes I do use a CV, mostly for agency work, because sometimes I've had to send a few to agencies who then send them on to clients as part of the pitch process. I don't know if you've had to do that.
Yeah. That's where they can come in handy. And you don't want to be caught, do you?
No.
If you do get in with an agency and suddenly they want your CV and they want to put you forward for something, you want to have something on file rather than racing and trying to put something together.
Yeah, exactly. And it's usually, they want a fast turnaround. So you can't it's good to have something on file, as you said. So how do you think freelancer CVs are different from other CVs, or a regular CV?
I guess the idea with CVs generally is it's this snapshot of your employment history. So who you've worked for and your experience and that sort of thing to help you get your next job. But I do think freelancer CVs, or the ones that I've seen anyway, can take a different approach, a really different approach. So it's quite interesting to look at how much they can differ.
In some ways, seeing yours, I think they're actually closer to being like a one-page brochure.
Some of the stuff that I've read about them say that it becomes part of your marketing materials, as a freelancer. Mine is actually 2 pages, but it's got lots of different sections. It's very bitsy. And I guess, I think that we should start by talking about how they can be different when it comes to design, because a typical CV that you'd use for a perm job probably needs to be really simple, no bells and whistles, because it's being scanned into HR systems and it needs to be readable, or it might just get binned as part of the job application process. But with a freelancer CV, you're not kind of going into those HR systems. You're probably just sending it as a one-off here and there to clients who specifically want that snapshot of your skills. Maybe they've seen you on LinkedIn, but they want something that they can keep on file.
Yeah.
So I really think you can make it as beautiful or as out there as you want. I mean, so say you were a designer, it's a no-brainer that you would design something that's so out of the box as your CV that the clients couldn't help but take a second look at it and read it. You know, like you might want to do it as a really graphical CV or an infographic or a mini report, or, you know, with charts and stats or images, client logos. Like I've seen some really, really gorgeous ones.
Oh, right. I know there's some really good templates for CVs on Canva. So I guess it's really not much of it's really a no-brainer to design your own. Is that what you did?
Yeah, I did. And I did just use a template on Canva, which was kind of the easy way to get something up and running.
Is it worth having it designed?
Yeah, like in the future, I would definitely have it designed and see what a designer could bring to it, because, you know, you want it to have that wow factor, and giving it to a designer, you know, you get back this document that, again, like we said, becomes part of your marketing materials. But I would look at a heap of freelancer CVs specifically and see what stands out to you, what's kind of relevant to what you do, and find a designer, maybe on Rachel's list or wherever you'd look for someone who can sort of help you with a really engaging design if you were going to outsource it.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting. So what sort of elements do you think you should include on a CV, freelance CV, and how would they be different from a regular one, do you think?
Obviously, the big question is employment history, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Because that's tricky, because I mean, you've been like a career freelancer, particularly. I've got a more conventional thing since before I started freelancing. So how do you tackle it if you've been self-employed for years?
Yeah, well, I think the last time I was permanent was when I was 27, which is 20 years ago. Oh my God, I feel very old. In terms of a CV, that's really old news, isn't it? Going back to then and putting that on a CV. So for me, it made more sense to sort of split my experience into sections like content and copy experience, journalism experience, editing and proofreading experience, which are those are sort of the key areas that I've worked in over the past 20 years. And in each section, I sort of mentioned key clients that I've worked with. But I think if you've got the space or you're designing it in that way, it's really great to sort of incorporate outcomes for clients for projects that you've worked on. So it might make more sense for a freelancer CV to include lists of completed projects that you've worked on and how they added value to the client. So, you know, what was that return on the investment for the client? Because I think that's really the story that prospective clients are going to be looking for and are going to be interested in, because they want to know what you can do for them.
Yeah, that is interesting, isn't it? Some of that's on my website, but it's not detailed in such a
like case studies or something, but like a cut down version of that.
That sounds really good. Another section that's quite different on a freelancer CV is the references or referee section. I mean, you sort of downplay that on a regular CV because it's usually references available on request or something. But do you think you should try and include some testimonials? Is that what you think?
Yeah, I've got a section on mine called Very Kind Words.
Where I like that.
Yeah, I've plucked out sort of 3 testimonials from past clients that kind of gave an overview of the different things that I do, really short. And like you say, you know, a normal traditional CV has that references on request and they have to come to you. But with the freelancer CV, you're giving that snapshot of yourself and why you need to be hired. So that can give an immediate, I've worked with these people, they thought I was great. You know,
this is what we've achieved.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I think in terms of areas that you would keep, it's still good to have a skills section though. I usually include a lot of freelancer skills I might have. One of the things I usually put in is things like, they're really boring but sort of necessary, like the computer programs I've worked for, the software. You know, if you say that you've used, I don't know, Basecamp or Trello or any of those things, because sometimes agencies are quite into that and they just like to be able to tick a box. Oh yeah, she can use this, she can use that. She's had experience with this. You know, things like PowerPoint even, that's quite handy. I also usually sometimes I've got a few professional qualifications. Like if you've got some SEO qualifications that would be relevant. I have a master's degree, which in business. So I put that in too. And that's quite good if I'm trying to get work or writing work within the business sort of scenario, which is, you know, I've used that as well.
Yeah, I totally agree. You kind of need to highlight your skill set, but this is where having done your CV on something like Canva, if you're only at that point, you don't want to invest in getting a really whiz bang one designed, you can go in and tweak it as much as you want. So say that you're, trying to approach a specific client and you want to tweak your skills section so it's really relevant to that client you're trying to land. It's easy to go into Canva, tweak it,
That's true. That means you could also update it if you do a new course or if something's changed too. Yeah.
I would, in terms of skill set though, I would really keep it very specific to skills that are going to be interesting. Like I wouldn't put on all the technical skills that you have that are quite basic. Like think of the skills that have resulted in really awesome outcomes for your clients. Like you said, SEO, or if you work in all kinds of content management systems, or you can hit the ground running with like digital marketing tools or, all that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Google Analytics, maybe.
Yeah. Yep. All that, I think.
Because they're the sort of things that people are asking for.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about the style and tone of a freelancer CV, because traditional ones, can be just like pretty boring, straight, a bit of a snooze fest, as you would say. Because I think you could have a bit more fun with it when you're a freelancer. Do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. It's about you. It's about showing off what you can do. And I do think you can take a bit more leeway with the tone. And that's what I do anyway. I mean, people differ in how they want to present themselves and the kind of tone they want to take. But for me, I want a client to read over it and maybe have a bit of a giggle or see what it would be like to work with me, rather than their eyes glazing over. So mine is it's kind of very personality, I have a little blurb at the top saying in a nutshell, and then I just have a few lines explaining who I am and what I do. And I have a box saying my comfort zone, which makes it really clear which niches I sort of write in. Yep. And then I have a box right at the end that says hire me in big text, and then in brackets underneath in really small text, this is subliminal.
Nice.
and it just like explains I'm available for short and long-term freelance gigs. I work remotely. So all that stuff that you don't want to have to debate with a client, have it on there,
Yeah.
You just say, this is how I work. This is how I operate. You could even put your hours on there that you are available, all that sort of stuff. So it's really clear from the outset.
Do you send it out a lot?
I find, like you said, agencies, job platforms that want one, talent pools want a CV on file. So I have it for that purpose, but I also give it to the odd client as well. So yeah, I mean, I have used it quite a bit since. I'm surprised at how much I have used it actually, because I just thought it would be a one-off thing that I did for this one platform, but I have used it a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I update mine quite regularly too. And I also make sure it matches my LinkedIn profile, because I find some people cross-check details, and I get a lot of people that find me via LinkedIn first. But yours is the best one I've seen. Can we put a link in the show notes of this episode? Because I think yours is really inspiring, and I do
really
like it. Fantastic. I think I should go off and fix mine, because mine looks a bit boring, really.
You'll have to go to Canva and find a template or something.
I will. Yeah. You did inspire me.
Well, I'll put it on my website in the contact section or the about section, probably the contact section. And then if anyone wants to see it, it's at rachelsmith.com.au, and it'll just be a link that you can download from the contact.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Contact
Thank
section.
You.
Yeah.
Oh, it's nice to share. I think that's about it for this week. I think we've covered that really well.
Yeah. But hope that that's given a few of you an idea if you're thinking about having a freelancer CV.
Yeah.
I think it can be really useful to have it on file, especially if someone asks for it. You don't want to be suddenly scrabbling and trying to put one together. Like, it's something good to think about and have as part of your marketing materials.
Yeah. And it's good to have it well thought out and make sure that you've ticked all the boxes that you need to tick. If you do it on the fly, it may not be quite as strong. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, well, we've got another guest next week.
We do.
And in the meantime, we look forward to seeing everybody's CVs.
Yes.
After being used up.
Send them to us. What's our email address?
thecontentbite@gmail.com.
Oh, yes. Yeah. We'd love to see your CVs. If you've done a zhuzhy CV, send it to us, because we might actually do a blog post on freelancer CVs. And
that's a great idea.
Do examples of some really good ones. So we would love to see if you've got one that you're really proud of that kind of is really, interesting or different to a traditional CV. We would absolutely love to see it. So send it along.
Great idea.
Yeah.
Great idea. Oh, thank you. Thanks, everyone. Nice to see you, Rachel.
You too, Lynn. And thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.